Good afternoon, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. I am DM Stuart 1981 in your booth. Restreaming for us today is ADR, and tracking for us today is Life Reboot. This is Winter Tournament Pod H. This is the last race of Pod H between Guda, who sits at 2-0, and Herbie B, who sits at 0-2. We already have 7 runners in the barn at 3-0, so if Guda wins by a good amount, that could mean a bye for him. Meanwhile, Herbie is looking to get that one win. Our players are running 4 Forced today, so this is a Forced party, Fighter Oreo. Our blursings on these characters, Fighter gets 10 MDef and 20 hit, but minus 15 hit points. White Mage gets plus 5 luck, plus 2 level 1 MP, but no heal 3. Black Mage gets plus 20 MDef, improved Cat Claw, but minus 150 gold. So we at least have an early poverty seed. Our incentive locations, in addition to the normal NPCs, we have Corneria Locked, we have Marsh Cave, Ice Cave, Ordeals, Bahamut's Horde. So Cardia Islands and Bahamut's Horde. We also have Titan's Trove, as well as, of course, the normal NPCs and the fetch quests. We also have Northern Docks on, so it is very possible to not have to have a floater, because the runners only have to light 2 orbs to get into Topher, to get into Temple of Fiends Revisited. We have the normal shuffled trap tiles, or spike tiles, I should say. We also have a random AoE casting item that will be given to our runners. And that should help them out. I will try to do everything I can to keep up with all of these. And I'm sure Life Reboot will do the same. Once again, thank you ADR, thank you Life Reboot for helping to crew this race. We are going to be off shortly. That would be Danny rolled this seed. We are off. And Guda, unfortunately, getting blocked out. We have Quad X, Bane, Fast, and Stun at level 1 black. I did not notice level 1 white. That's going to be Heal 3, Lamp, and was it Cure 2? But as we notice, Heal 3 cannot be learned by the White Mage. And we get Toxic Imps out of the gate. Daddy Seed confirmed. And Guda into Temple of Fiends. That's Pure Potion. And Nope's out of that. And the top chests are 170 gold and 465 gold, so couch cash. Nope's out of those too, and heads for Garland. Black Shirt is our item. Quad X lands. Garland is terminated. And we are back to the tail and the crown. That's gonna open up a possible immediate trek to the west. Orange Shield +5 is not a bad find, especially this early, especially in a Poverty Seed. Longsword +5 is actually not a bad find in the Poverty Seed. Yeah, it was Cure 2 at level 1 white. Ooh, Herbie having some difficulties with Garland. And no shop item yet. Ooh, Fire 2 on Garland. That's... And Herbie decides to nope out, and probably gonna go find... Not sure. Meanwhile, Gouda is heading over to Provoca. The number of times I've seen ship at Provoca in these flags is enough to make me want to do that. Let's look at our level 2. Level 2, harm 4. So we at least have a sweeper of some kind. Gouda pulling those pirates. There's the black shirt gets off. And Herbie B downs Garland. Quad X lands. And that's a canal. We have no ship yet, but we do have a canal. And no shop item yet. Let's look at level 2. Level 2 black is Ice 2, Temper, and Brack. Yeah, as Kyleo points out in chat, we've got Fast, Temper, and 2 black mages. Okay, that's Tail and Cran on Herbie's side. Gouda is making the play down towards Ice. This is a play I see a lot in these flags with free canoe. Gouda's gonna head to Crescent. I can see either play. I can see going either play, Phoenix. Phoenix commenting in chat about curious play about going back to the west. Oh, cheap houses. 534 for houses. That is definitely what you want to see in a Poverty Seed. And that gloves +5 is very handy. Herbie B pulling Bridge Boss. Gouda not checking level 6 magic. And that's a Ruby from the Sages. Now, some of the incentive type items. Oh, we have the EXPs there on Gouda. Just outside of Crescent Lake. That is a good grind to find right now. especially right outside of Crescent Lake. And they're not that thick. Only getting one of them in that fun, but if you can get all 4 of them, that's gonna get you some tasty, tasty XP. Ah, I missed that. Thank you, Kylio. Wall and level 2 white. You love to see it. Now I don't remember how many enemies have toxic, how many toxics there are in the pool. So I don't know if that imp will be it. We are looking at a proximity play. We're looking at proximity plays. I think it's a reasonable play to do that. And yes, anything involving avoiding toxic imps is a good play. There's giants. Giants are a surprisingly good early game fight, especially for poverty seeds, because they are a lot of money. And that's a ruby from Herbie B. Yeah, the giants have rolled up a little bit. And Herbie's gonna head over towards Elfland. Oh, Nuke Caribs! Hello, Nuke Caribs. I don't mind that play, Thavion Hawk, especially with the better spike treasure, the better trapped treasure. Lit 3 at level 3. Life 2 at level 3. I missed level 4 white. Lit 2, Saber, Lock, and Zap. Yeah, I do like to play it for Martian Crown turn in. For a true Danny seed, ice, something like ice leading to ship. Yeah, if you can pick up Guda making the play up to turn in that crown, I like doing that first. Well, I don't know. That's an Oxyale from Astos. So Astos wants for his crown. Astos will give you scuba equipment, and Guda picks up that scuba equipment and heads for Marsh. Meanwhile, Herbie's going to do exactly the same thing. About the only difference right now is that Gouda has about 3 or 4 more has about 4, 5 more levels than Herbie. Oh, that just feels awful. And Gouda down on the incentive floor marsh. Herbie headed that way himself. Orange stick, 1,000 gold. Herbie finds a Hass. That's a gargoyle spike tile. That's adamant. There's a ribbon. There's a loose ribbon. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see the loose ribbon. Oh, yeah, and a giant sword, you're right, that's not a bad early weapon. It's not a bad mid-game weapon, if it rolled decently. And Gouda picks up that Hass. And Herbie's going to find that gargoyle pile with the adamant behind it. And someone mentioning earlier, Marsh Incentive was ship guarded by a blue D. I've seen worse. I've seen it be the required progression guarded by the wrong eye. And Gouda's going to head up, I believe, and turn that in at dwarves. I don't dislike Herbie taking that fight. And the greed chest, a silver -2 and 1,600 gold. Adamant is a ribbon. Confirmed ice required. But I will agree, Thavion. 2 ribbons early is a good thing to find. Won't do much against those nuke Caribs, but won't do much against those nuke Caribs, but it'll at least help with other things. And Kyleo, how about ice? How about ice has TNT into key into crystal into boat? No. TNT into crystal. TNT into crystal into herb into key into boat. I've seen that level of fetch quest before. It was awful. That level of fetch quest into the boat was awful. And Guda finds the Nuke Caribs. Yeah, all the camping gear on the riverside. And Guda headed for Ice Cave. Yeah, yes. They are, in fact, hitting both runners. I would put Guda about 5 to 10 minutes ahead right now. Funny you mention imps with first turn toxic. Because that's a thing. And blizzard images. No, it's the images that have the blizzard, right, Kylio? Yeah, that suggests not doing Earth Cave. Yeah, you never want to need life or life 2 this early. Yep, and there's those blizzard images again. If Herbie can manage to escape getting blizzarded by the images, Herbie will go a long way to catching up. Ice Cave is proving to be, in fact, Ice Cave. Guda skips the better trap treasure. Yeah, I don't necessarily blame him either. I think he's got exit. It's a key. Might also be saving it for with no exit, saving it for going around the second time. Nope. Herbie is going to check that better trap treasure on the incentive floor. Yes, now to run back through imp-infested waters, or lands. And Carib-infested waters. But Guda doing the smart thing and burning off an encounter before getting into the river system. I missed what was in that treasure chest. Ah, the Aegis. Aegis is a real nice find if Herbie can get out of here with it. And let's see what we've got in that. Let's see what we've got in that Cardia, in those Cardia chests. 10, money, 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 pro ring +5, and there's a ship. Yes, it always feels nice to get the ship there instead of, like, say, Marsh or Crescent Lake. Here's the problem, is Herbie's going to have to run back through that pack on the way out. But that is a flame shield, which is at least a... which is at least a good shield that Herbie can equip and that will help against those blizzard images. Guda's in the ship at about 24 minutes. And Guda's gonna go check Sarda and Titans. There's a Pro Cape -2 in the 6-pack. Pass. 5,600 gold in a cube. Yeah, Herbie's in some trouble. But if Herbie wipes out of here. Yeah, if Herbie wipes out of here, then he knows what chests he doesn't have to check. He knows to just go for the Aegis shield and out. Herbie pretty much out of magic here. White Mage casts Punch. It's not very effective. And there's Guda headed for... Okay, arachnids with heat. And let's see what Sarda's got for us. Sarda has a loot. That is a required item. Yeah, Guda is actually in levels and go mode. Guda can do 2 dungeons. Do 2 themed dungeons, has the key and the loot. Guda is in levels and go mode at 25 or 26, 27 minutes. And is checking Hall of Giants tiles. And that's not one I'd like to... That's not something that's great. not necessarily something it's not necessarily great fights, and those blizzard images. Oh, those blizzard images. That's a gold +3 for 12k. That's not bad. Level 5 magic is pretty well garbage. I need to step away for a moment and take care of something.
I'll jump in the booth. Hello, this is Life Reboot Your Tracker, now commentating. So, if you're Herbie B, you've already experienced Ice Cave. You know it's required for progression. Do you pivot? Get some levels somewhere else, or do you continue to hammer against the Ice Cave until you get through? If I'm not mistaken, he has to drop down here for the key item. But he's only down to a black mage. If he exits out of here to save, he only has a few gain levels on the black mage. Tricky situation, you hate to see it. I spy a ribbon in the hoarded chest of Bahamut, as well as an herb. Herbie continuing to struggle with ice. This really demonstrates the impact of the early game, what you can see happen to one racer that another doesn't see. So Herbie saw the Fire 2 on Garland, Guda skipped it. Herbie ran into the nuke Kareeves right away, and Guda didn't until later. They were sort of hand in hand, but the big difference was Guda stopped to level up on those peeds outside of Crescent Lake, giving him the level advantage heading into Ice Cave, therefore having a lot of more spell charges, things like Life 2, Harm 4, Lightning 3, I believe, and, you know, just that small choice to take the time to gain the levels and the spell charges allowed Guda to kind of eke through and obtain the key item pull, and is really running away with the race at this point.
Also skipping the side chests, which, even though it was an Aegis shield, and that's a really good find with that knight, or with that fighter going to be knight, with the limited resources and the nastiness that's in Ice Cave, I don't know if you can afford to make that play.
You're right. It was a veteran play by Guda to skip the chest and just to focus on getting out.
Now, how much is that going to affect Guda later, looking for high-end gear? I'd like to think that in the same place, as soon as I saw the nastiness, that I would immediately jump out and handle just get the item and go, knowing that it has to lead to the ship.
I've been in that situation before, though, where you're kind of reeling out of control as you recognize how behind you are, right? And as you continue to fumble, you just kind of spin out of control, and you just think, I just have to keep trying, I have to make up time. It's challenging for me. I don't
Tilt
know
is real.
about other racers, but it's challenging for me to pivot when I know I just need to get through, right?
Tilt is a real thing.
So Kylio making a comment in chat about the sea dive not going to be easy with the level that Gudas has. I'm not sure I agree. With 4 Light Warriors, many charges of Life 2, as well as charges of Brack and Bane, I believe that this is not just a dream. This is something that I would 100% do as well. And I would be confident that I would probably get through. I'd say the odds are like 25% chance that you die against Kraken.
I don't know that I like the play going up to... Oh no, this isn't mermaids. My mistake. I somehow thought he was going at mermaids. Gouda on Sharknado floor. Finds a ruse stick. Honestly, Gouda is just looking for an end game for a real sword now, and that's probably gonna do it. Oh, glance on the sorcerer, really? Because those sorcerers come back several different places.
So at about the 35-minute mark, we're about to see our first fiend on stream.
Yeah, we know there will be a Vorpal somewhere, but we know we will have a paper cut sword somewhere.
And we're grateful to finally see Irby out of the ice cave with the key.
And makes a save, and that's good news. Thank you for stepping in and helping out Life Reboot.
Of course.
Ooh. We're at Brackstrats. And Kraken has been broken into pieces. Gouda does not take the thief that's there. I don't think that's not a bad decision. And Gouda heading up to Waterfall. Herbie gonna hit the party member store here at... Okay, Herbie's going to re-provision and then hit the party member store. I don't necessarily think it was all that odd. I mean, it's nice to have the extra XP from the key item, but at the same time, you've got 2 Brack casters. Okay, Herbie now going through the land of the Toxic Imps. This this case, ambushing toxic imps. That's a bottle from Robot. A bottle on Guda's side. Now,
So if you're Guda and you see this metal slime pack, do you stop and take that a few times? You don't have exit or warp, but you're thinking you have your promotion. You have basically go mode, could be floaterless. Do you risk it here to get some additional levels, or do you just make your way through?
Do I have fire? Do I have fire spells?
Looks like no.
Then no.
Alright, fair enough.
Honestly, if I need it. Oh, that's not. At this point, as Guda, I'm gonna go down and gonna do Volcano. I'm gonna get myself into ready for Topher mode, and then if the spike tiles in Volcano don't give me anything, then I'm gonna check Topher. I'm gonna check the Toph locked, and I'm gonna check the Northwest Castle locked. I think Ordeals may be a good play. I think I do Ordeals to avoid... I think Phoenix makes a good point. Ordeals to avoid the river system. Because Guda has seen the new Caribs. But Guda doesn't do it. That's probably why probably why Guda's 2-0 and I'm 1-2.
Is a life pickup on the night?
Guda has not turned in the herb. Herb is crystal. Makes you feel kind of bad about parking on the outside. And Good is going to check those Northwest Castle tiles, which I think is the right play. It's a red D. That's an adequate grind. And a blue D is a good grind if it doesn't roll awful.
Caleb making the point that I would also do. So you see the red dragon here. You would basically kind of mark that in your mind. Go do Volcano, pick up some items along the way, hope that maybe you find an Excal or some sort of endgame-ish sword. With a temper, you have a lot of options, right? And you walk through Volcano, Carrie takes out some of your party members, brings you down to a single party grind on this red D. So I like the suggestion. We'll see what Guda decides.
Yeah, red D and blue D, by the way.
I haven't had much luck on blue D grinds, if I'm being honest, so I would lean into that red D.
And that's what Guda's doing, is leaning into that red D grind.
Meanwhile, Irby's side, picking up that loot, brings him to key item go mode as well.
I have leaned into the blue D grind before. It sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. Again, it depends on how the blue D rolls. It is tasty experience for a single party member, but at the same time, it can be kind of spicy. Okay, on Herbie's side, you've got to be feeling well behind.
As we mentioned before, struggled with Fire 2 on Garland. I think he took that fight 2 or 3 times. Then ran into the nuke Caribs in the river system. And of course, really got stuck on ice. I have to agree with you. What's going through your mind if you're Herbie right now?
If I'm in Herbie's position, I'm gonna make the ordeals play. I'm gonna play ordeals and see. Because my only hope is that my opponents had similar difficulties. My opponents had some of the same problems that I've had, and that my opponent is, and that I've got to make a guess. I've got to make a home run shot, a home run play.
Yep, and I 100% agree. He's got to be feeling behind at this stage. Meanwhile, Guda is satisfied with his grind. I saw level 20 last, and it was across the whole party.
That's a rod from the crystal.
And with the spells that we saw on the images and maybe the spiders, I'm not sure what I would do. Like, are you closer to Volcano or Earth at this point?
At this point, I don't care about the proximity. I'm not taking Earth. Not after seeing Blizzard images. I'm doing Volcano. Volcano's got...
Herbie was doing exactly what you were saying and making the ordeals play.
Yeah, what we know is that this is the floater. Volcano has so many more chests and at least a couple of better trap treasures. Crystal was Rod.
Oh yes, thank you.
There's just so much. There's so much that's gone wrong for Herbie in this seed. Ugh. Cremate Argoyles, too. We have an Agma in the fire elemental spot. We have 2 better trap treasures on this floor too. If I'm Herbie, I might think about a desert grind. There's an encounter not too far off a hard reset, and if it happens to be steak and wings or blue steak, that suddenly becomes a very viable grind. Yeah, or sandwiches.
Picking up a white shirt out of that better trap treasure chest.
And a defense +5, which that's a real sword.
Herbie darting over to the desert to grab his airship.
Yeah, Herbie's gonna turn that herb in, get the crystal. Well, Pickles, yes, you still have to buff it, but you have 2 fast and temper casters. They've got temper for days.
Yeah, so if I'm Gouda, I'm thinking that I'm probably comfortable.
I'm thinking
Maybe
I'm
a
not
few
checking.
more levels on the fighter.
Yeah,
But
I'm thinking
with the number of fast and temper charges, the defense sword, white shirt, and the life charges on the knight, you've got to be thinking that the Topher dive is going to happen floaterless.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm not checking another. I'm at the point, especially with all 3 ribbons, I don't know that I'm checking another chest on Buddha's side.
On Herbie's side, picking up that rod from Crystal, where is it going to go? It looks like a volcano.
Volcano. Volcano provides.
I think you can notice the nerves on Herbie's side. I did not see a save outside of the volcano before he came in here.
There's a power bonk on Guda's side. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome raiders. That is a power bonk. I'm definitely not checking any more chests.
Now, this is the first time I'm thinking Herbie's like, well, here's an opportunity to get levels on this Agma, right? Oh, he decides not to. I'm not sure where Herbie's levels are right now, but I know that they do trail Gouda's by a significant margin.
Herbie's in the mid-teens, around 15, 16. What was that sword that...
I saw a dragon sword and a bane sword.
Yeah, I mean, Gouda's got a ruse stick, a defense sword, a white shirt, a power bonk. I'm not checking any more chests. There's that defense +5. Here's a red mage behind carry, but yeah, if anything, pick up a couple more levels in Topher. Maybe see if you can get. This is not the safe way to take the Agma grind. And Gouda's through carry. That's 2 orbs. Herbie is going to duck out and save.
Okay, and you see on Guda's sign now that he's back, he's walking over that lava again and again. This is a strategy to get your party down to just one party member.
Yep.
He's going to take that Agula grind and grind up that fighter even higher. While we see Herbie making the same strategy. As though he heard me.
Yeah, that's actually a good fight to hit. The 4 Peds.
Guda's got 3 light warriors.
And 16, that's where the levels are.
So at 16, I'd feel comfortable for fighting Carry, but obviously still trailing quite a bit behind Guda for being Topher ready.
Yeah, well, Herbie also still has to do another Fiend dungeon.
As well as this one.
Yeah, as well as completing this one. While Guda is at level and go.
Alright, so what's your stopping point for a knight in these flags?
Depends on what sword I have.
Okay, let's say it's a defense +5. Just
It's a defense
in
+5.
theory.
6 hits.
Fair.
So when I get to a spot, I'm gonna look at when I get to where I think might be close. I'm gonna look at the. I'm gonna actually go into my status and look for my hit percentage, because every 32 is another hit. So I'll go in and look at the hit percentage and see where it is. Yeah, so a knight with +20 hit percent and a defense +5, whatever 6 hits is. The relevant one for our discussion, Davion Hawk, is that the fighter has +20 hit percent. But yeah, it's either gonna be 160 or 192.
And Guda's happy, and he is out of here.
And is going to brave the nuke Caribs.
So, Phoenix 29 in chat was making a good point. I mean, we're talking about, yes, Guda's very ahead. Topher in these flags can be scary. There was not an instance in any of my pod races where I did not need to attempt Topher twice. Maybe that's me jumping the gun, but, you know, the RNG that can happen, you never know.
Yeah, it's not. The RNG in Topher can be pretty awful.
Guda remembering the gold +3 picks up another one.
And there's those toxic imps.
Takes down the one party member without a ribbon.
There's Guda re-equipping. I did not see what Guda had as far as the as far as heal pots. Guda into Topher, into a first dive of Topher at about 57 5730.
Meanwhile, Irby is grinding up that fighter very, very high. The HP on the fighter right now is 636, and he's happy with that. Must not yet have life on that promoted fighter, so he's going to Crescent Lake to revive his party.
Going to the party member store. Checking level 6. Level 6 has exit. And fire 3.
While Guda takes on Lich 2.
And Lich 2 pulled. $12 for $9.98. That's done.
So with 16 fast charges, you've got to just maybe spend them almost two at a time.
Guda is using the defense +4, Kylio. Or defense +5, rather. Guda pulls carry 2. Let's see what Kelly's got for us. Oh, 4 for 363, and that's a downed white mage. Kelly too doing Kraken 2 things. Taking out a life caster immediately. There's Herbie finding that power bonk. And Guda hitting Kraken floor. Guda pulling a Kraken 2. Let's see what Kraken 2 has for us. Let's watch Kraken 2 punch out that white mage. Because that's what Kraken 2 does. Lock. 11 for 991. That's a nice. You'll love to see it. And Kraken 2 is terminated. We have not seen anything nasty yet.
Meanwhile, Herbie Pete pulls up his fiend fight with carry 1.
Thavion Hawk, where were the nukes? They're on the Caribs.
Herbie lights his first orb at 2 minutes after the hour.
Oh, and Tia 2 is taken out. Tia 2 takes that party out. Found it. And Guda wipes on Tia 2.
I was holding my breath. The Bane from Tia 2 a few times there seemed like Revenge of Tiamat there because of the number of times that Tia has choked on poison smoke.
Yes. Herbie making the Earth Cave play. Given that how much difficulty Herbie had with blizzard images and ice, I don't know that I like that play.
Well, with Rod and Oxiel in hand, and you're sort of at the southern part of the world, I sort of agree with it. He's leveled up the knight to the point where he shouldn't have much worry. Things might run away from him. And the other option is you have to land on the North Continent, on the Onrak continent, and then make the walk. So it's a personal preference, and I don't disagree with it at this point now that he has levels.
I can see the point. I can see the argument. I don't know that I would do Earth, just given what I've already seen that's in Earth.
Fair. Checking the better trap treasure on the vampire floor. Finds an ice -3.
Under the theory that with the devil I know, the devil I don't know is worth a try. Okay, Gouda back in Topher, back on a Lich 2. Yeah, as Phoenix points out, there's some dirty encounters in Earth. And at this point, not seeing it done... Oh, that's the wrong eye. That's not the eye you want to see. Gouda carry 2.
I haven't quite memorized the better trap treasure tiles yet. I believe that Herbie just pulled a rune +5 out of the...
Yes, upper left, top left in that room. There is in the bottom, in the 3-chest room on that floor, there's the center one. So the middle of the 3. Yeah, at this point, I think both runners are in clench mode.
Now this is scary because Kraken deletes Gouda's fighter instantly before he has an opportunity to get any of his defense buffs up.
And the white mage, so Gouda just nopes out.
It's probably the right call.
Yeah, with both life
you can toss out Brax, but you're no way to revive or complete the rest of the seed. So
yeah, with no life casters.
Caleb in chat asking if we check the Topher lock chests, which are also the better trap chests. Not so far. Gouda skipped them.
We also have not checked the 2 validation chests. So what's your thought on checking those 2 validation chests in the loot room?
I rarely do it unless I'm missing like Power Gauntlet still. In the unlikely event it happens to be there, I don't want to miss it. But typically when I enter Topher, I do it with the mentality that what I have is what I have, and I'm not like anticipating something being in those checks. Or it's a check I don't make maybe 1 in 25 seeds, I might check them. I think that the time loss is not worth it.
And Herbie is going to go check those the better trap treasure chests. And that's a Frost D. I will agree with Rob Draven in chat to the question, what gear is Guda's knight wearing? According to Kraken 2, paper. And that's a gold +3 in that one.
So I don't know if Herbie did what Guda did and bought 3 or 4 gold +3s. So he'll gladly accept that. And it goes to his white mage.
Which is the correct call. Now, if you see something like an X-Cal +5 here, that is a game changer. Guda on carry floor. That's a Sun +4. That's a respectable sword.
It definitely is. I think I would take that over the defense sword, although I would still keep the defense sword on the knight because of the ruse charges.
Yes. Okay, Guda hitting Topher again, looking for better RNG.
Being pointed out in chat that the Sun +4 is advantageous against Lich, and I wouldn't have known that the Sun +4 is actually worse than the Defense +5, so today I learned.
Oh, it's because of the crit. It's because of the crit getting through armor better. It's the +5 versus the +4 Phoenix. Saying not thinking the defense crit is very good. With the +5, it makes it that much better. Herbie's not necessarily grinding the gas dragons. He was just saw the fight, saw the opportunity, and to get some tasty XP. Herbie on the Lich floor, Guda fighting Kraken.
So if you're metagaming this a little bit as a racer, you know that an hour and 10 has passed and you have not seen your opponent finished. You're in Topher, finally. Do you think you have a chance? You've got to, right?
You have to think you've got a chance. But you also have to be wondering, why has my opponent not done? Because...
Oh, I think that was a mismenu. Due to the Black Mage being stunned, he actually waited on his fighter.
Ooh. But through Kraken 2. Now for Tia 2. Yeah, Herbie's got to be thinking, how nasty is Topher? How nasty is Topher that my opponent hasn't finished yet? And Thunder on Lich. I don't believe Guda ever saw Thunder off of Lich. This is a close race. Herbie onto carry 2 floor, and Guda in hold A and pray mode on Kraken 2.
He does have full evasion on that fighter, so he's
but
likely gonna make it through, I'd say. And there it is. So
there we go.
with the life charges, let's pull up the white mage. With the white mage charges, pull up the other party members. Great job.
That is the correct play, and now let's see about chaos. Guda going around to the left, that is, of course, the correct direction. Chaos starts off with Lit 3. Stacking that evade, stacking the temper. And yes, I'm with Kyleo on this. If I'm Herbie, I'm going to take my time. I'm still going to take my time. Work it. Work correctly. Just play my game. Okay, Guda's got that max evade up on the knight. Looks like Chaos isn't doing anything too badly.
And very respectable damage out of that knight. 1309, 645. This should be over soon. You got to be feeling pretty panicked if you're Guda, but I think
unless a slow 2 happens to get off on that knight. That'll do it. Guda has completed with an official race time GG time of 1:15:02, and let's see if Guda wants to pop into. Let's see if Guda wants to come into our GG to you, Guda.
Thanks. That was not ideal.
That was a topher.
That was the first turn nuke. Like literally, either time, all I had to do was get fast off, and I would have just eaten right through Tia. But I got a temper off both times, but not fast. So I guess I should have just pivoted and had both black mages cast fast and hope that one of them got off. I don't know, but that was that was not ideal with how I wanted to finish that off. Like should have been done like I don't know 20 minutes ago. The first time through Topher, I should have made it, and I never went back and got more levels because I'm like, well, I was literally a fast cast away from winning.
So let me ask: did you find? Did you find the imps intoxicating?
They were toxic for my love, that's for sure.
And
just they listened to too much Britney Spears before they started this seed, let me tell you.
And let's see, Herbie is clearing out. Herbie's down to a knight and a white mage on Tia 2.
Yeah, those Karibes were fun too, the nuke ones.
And there's a nuke. There's a nuke from Tia 2.
Yeah, he gave Herbie a little bit of a break.
The Carib with nuke definitely showed up earlier for Herbie. I think only saw them going east from Elfland and not west from.
Yeah, they were the first encounter off the encounter table, so it was pretty easy to avoid them if you just burnt off that first encounter. And by the time I hit going from the west, I was already deeper into the encounter table, and I got to run away from 2 of them once, so that was helpful as well.
Yes.
Well, GG to you, Guda. You executed your Topher that got through successfully very well. A slight adjustment on Tia 2 to put that fighter down in the bottom slot, I think, was the maneuver to get those defense stacks up.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue that I had was actually the second time through when I got lazy on Kraken. I'm like, oh, Kraken hit one hit for 36 damage. Whatever. It's not going to do anything. Crunch goes the knight. I go, oh, crap.
Yeah. Seeming to forget Kraken 2 is going to do Kraken 2 things.
Right. I'm like, I should be able to just power through this. I thought it was like I want to say it was 3 turns and Kraken 2 was down. And I'm like, oh, whatever. And then bam, 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 and done. So that was not fun. That was another 3-minute time suck. So this definitely affects my seeding because this could have been over 15 minutes ago.
Kraken 2 cast punch. It was super effective.
Yeah, always is.
Herbie making final party adjustments and heading into chaos.
Herbie pulling chaos. We've got harm 4 for 86. We've got a fast off. We've got a temper off, a defense off. Did Herbie not pick up that white shirt, I wonder? Looks like Herbie didn't pick up that white shirt.
I don't even remember where the white shirt was.
It
Volcano
was in
Armory.
the Volcano Armory in the trap chest, better trap.
Yeah, see, I haven't even figured out where the better trap treasure chests are, so I might want to do that.
Okay, there's the 2 on the right side on the locked toph. There's the one at the bottom, and then the one that you have to go over the tile twice on the top. There's 3 in Earth. There's the tiny room just before Vampire. There's there's the far upper left on the top of Earth 4 and the middle on the bottom of Earth 4.
Okay.
There's the one that's guarded by the Vanilla Mage tile in ice. There's like the one in Toph on the top left of the bottom floor of ice, the drop floor. And that'll do it for Herbie.
GG.
In chat for Herbie, way to finish. And he did it in his first Topher dive, which is different than Guda's experience.
Yeah, my experience was not nearly so kind. But chat saying that ice was the difference. I'm glad I went to Marsh first and I found those 2 ribbons because man, they literally made the difference.
Hey, thanks. That was pretty rough.
Yeah,
rough
GG
start,
Herbie.
at least.
Did you go to ice before you went to Marsh?
Ah, geez, what did I do? Yes,
No,
I
you
did.
Oh no, you went to Marsh first.
No,
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Marsh first. I feel like I went to ice so many times it's hard to remember.
Gotcha. Yeah, were you just low level? Like I know ice was super scary with all the blizzards, but
I think I was too low level. I thought for a second to kind of go out and try to level like at Power Peninsula or something just to get some levels, but and in hindsight I probably should have done that because I wouldn't have wiped so many times. I ended up giving up on some of the items. I know there was an Aegis shield in there, which I ended up just giving up on because I just needed to get through it.
yeah, I didn't even once I saw all the blizzards and everything else that was in there, I was like, you know what? This is a run through and I'm not even gonna try and grab anything. It was too dangerous. But I got some early levels on Peds.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the difference.
Peds were the first encounter off the power cycle right outside of Crescent Lake. So I think I went to like level 10 or 12 right there.
Yeah, that's what I needed to do. I was just too low levels and I just kept doing it, just trying to squeak through, and it just it just took too long for me, and I mean, I just got off on the wrong step for sure.
Yeah, I was 100% waiting for you to finish because I was like, well, this is rough. This is not going the way I need it to go, and here we go. So I was fully expecting you to finish.
Yeah. I had a feeling Topher was rough because I was like, wow, I'm having a really hard time, and I'm just like, wow, the time, it's just all of a sudden you're way over an hour and you're like, wow, like there's something really, like this must be rough for you too.
Yeah, I mean it was. There was enough here that could kind of make you go sideways. The toxic imps, those toxic imps.
And
yeah, there was the toxic imps. There was
Fire 2 on Garland.
Oh, that could have been dangerous if Quad X didn't get off right away.
Yeah, I didn't have the money at the start, so I was like, okay, well, I just kind of went right there and thought I could do it with the black shirt, and I think I wiped like 3 times the Garland and just should have just picked up Quad X.
Yeah, I had enough money for 1 Quad X, which is why I'm like, all right. Well, this is what we got. Forced into poverty. This is the America of all seeds.
Danny.
Yeah, it was definitely a Danny seed. For sure. And then I went into C at like level 14 going, oh, this should be fine. I have a lot of Brack casts. And dope. I got popped out by lobsters, and then I got popped out by something else. And then Brack didn't hit for 4 or 5 turns. I'm like, well, I'm screwed. I'm done. Well,
yeah, that seafood party platter was not nice.
No, they were jerks.
I ended up going to Earth instead, so I never saw that, but that was I ended up going to Earth.
I mean, that was likely the smart play.
Well, and I don't know that I would have done Earth after seeing all of the Blizzard images in.
Oh, right.
I don't know that the proximity would have been worth it in my mind. Just thinking, okay, I know I have ambushing Blizzard images. I'm not touching Earth.
I guess I lucked out because I hadn't thought about that. My mind was just kind of spinning a little bit after kind of the Garland rough start and just ice forever.
Where was Vorpal?
Never saw it.
We never saw it. It might have been Bottle.
So it was either Bottle or Slab.
Bottle or Slab.
I never got the airship.
That was
you didn't
ordeal.
get Sloater, okay.
No, I thought about going down and getting it, but I'm like, I have everything I need. I just needed a sword, and if I didn't find a sword in Volcano, then I was gonna go grab the Vorpal, but I found the defense +5, and then I totally forgot that I found the defense +5. So I kept opening boxes, and I went, wait a minute, I have defense +5. What am I doing?
But then you found a power bonk, so.
Yeah, the power bonk was real good.
Oh, I forgot to use the power bonk. I equipped it and then just didn't use it. I completely forgot about that. That probably would have made things a little easier in Topher.
Yeah, I mean, other than Tia 2 starting off with Nuke, like, that Topher. Carry 2 bought my White Mage right away, too. It's like, oh, 6 hits, 600 damage. Goodbye, White Mage. Don't need you.
Yeah, Carry 2 doing Kraken 2 things.
And then Kraken 2 doing Kraken 2 things. It was a Topher. A Topher to remember. And then you just have to remember, don't be lazy in Topher. Kids, always move your fighter.
Well, so that finishes off the Kefka pod. That puts you to 3-0, Guda.
Oh yeah.
That puts Herbie to where I expected to be. Where I expected myself to be. 0-3.
0-3 club. Way to go, Herbie. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
I'm also in that very special club.
It's my first ever tournament. I kind of was, in my first head-to-head matches, I kind of was expecting 0-3, pulling out not -20 on the time differential. I was pretty happy with that for this one and the last one. So,
not only that, but he had to go against me. He had to go against Sir Link a lot.
Yeah.
And he only lost to Link by less than 2 minutes, and he lost to me by less than 6 minutes. Like, Herbie B coming in first tournament, and he just had to go through the ringer.
Yeah, you hit two 3-0 runners, Herbie. That's pretty good. You did pretty good.
I just consider this, I'm leveling myself up right now, right? I'm taking the hits, so
For
I'm
sure.
just learning.
Yeah, absolutely. So later on today, we've got as I pull up the schedule. We've got at 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. We've got a double. We've got a four-way race with Kylio versus Lord of the Synth and Rojo versus Shadow Mr. T. And at 9:30, we've got Lord Fizzlebeef and Jay Coper. So that's what's coming up. That's what's coming up later on tonight.
Should be some pretty fantastic matches.
Yeah, that should be pretty fantastic. I mean, maybe not quite as fantastic as that race from a couple days ago. That race from a couple nights ago that was 2 frames different.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough to top. But I mean, you never know. These flags are fast and they are also swingy because Topher can do Topher things.
Yeah. Let's move along to final thoughts. Life Reboot.
GG Gouda, and a very impressive, picking up the pieces run at Topher there at the end, Herbie. It turned it into a nail biter.
Gouda.
I mean, thanks to the Final Fantasy Randomizer channel for hosting us. Thanks to DM Stewart, Life Reboot, ADR for coming out on the afternoon of a Tuesday. I know it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast, and most people are working, but we're sitting here having a good time. So, and I thank all the audience for coming in and hanging out with us. Thanks for doing an afternoon race, Herbie. I like doing these. These are a lot of fun. It also kind of gives us our own little time because there's not a lot going on in the afternoon, and people like to get out of their work and watch some FFR. And I'm glad this was a good race. I'm glad that the Danny seed just kept being a Danny seed the entire time, even though we got a pretty vanilla like fighter white black. That's something that I would take regularly. So it started off looking pretty easy, and it turned out not even close. So thanks, everybody. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm just kind of crossing my fingers that I'm going to be able to get that first round bye in bracket so I can take a couple weeks off.
And Herbie?
Yeah, no, this was great. I think it's just interesting to see how different these seeds can be, right? So I feel like this one was very, very different, right? I did another 4 forced, right? And it's completely different every single time. And yeah, just thanks to everybody. And just everyone, agreeing to help and provide advice and things like that, right? It's just a great community, and yeah, it's just to see how much these can swing, right? Just know you keep at it. I'm still gonna be looking for win 1 here when we get to the bracket, so that will be coming.
Hey, we've got a great community here. We've got a great we've got a great community here. We've got a really fun. We've got the Duckling Derby coming up afterwards, which is a really good program that gets us a lot of. We've got the Duckling Derby program, which gives us a whole lot of new people the opportunity to learn how to race and learn how to beat some of these good runners. We've got the summer co-op tournament that happens. We've got fall league. We've got all kind of interesting tournaments and events. Pods finish up this week and start off and next week we start out with the brackets. I would like to first off thank our runners for letting us restream them. Thanks to Gouda and Herbie. Thank you to the Final Fantasy Randomizer channel and community for the opportunity to do this commentary. Thank you, Life Reboot, for tracking and stepping in and helping out with some comms throughout. Thank you, ADR, for the restream. And thank you, Danny, for rolling the seed we've come to expect from you. So keep an eye out for those races tonight, and keep an eye out for the races coming up. There's 13, if I counted correctly, races left to go in the pods. So everyone have a great day.